Hello and welcome to Two Drink Maximum. I'm your co-host Chase.
I'm your co-host Shane.
It's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. We've been sort of working our way through this week. Some of us have had to return to the office, which is Shane's current boon.
We're thrilled about it. Yes.
But not that thrilled. So I wanted to talk about real quick before we get started, the Wednesday feelings in life. What's just that middle of the road feeling? Not too good, not too bad, but something you're like, hey, that certainly happened to me. I want to know the Wednesday feelings. I've got my one suggestion is going to be finding a dime on the street. It's not as bad as a penny. It's not quite as exciting as a quarter, but hey, that's still 10 cents in your pocket. Shane, what's your Wednesday feeling?
Wednesday feeling is like eating spaghetti and marinara sauce, where it's like, it's fine. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a good, decent meal, but
that's
not
a meal.
Yeah, it's not like, you know what I mean? You're not like going out for that. You're just making it at home. You know what I mean?
Took you 30 minutes. It's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy to do.
Oh, God. Well, as we sit here and we're recording, we're kind of in our apartments. Mm-hmm. We're recording over Zoom today to pull back the curtain a little bit. And it's funny that we mention apartments because we are very excited to have on the show co-host of the Rank Kings podcast, Danny Weiser. Danny, thank you so much for joining us today, dude.
Yeah, listen, this is the start of me returning the favor of you being as pretty close to a permanent guest on my podcast that's been going on for far too long. So happy to be here.
It's also kind of a sequel for us. We spoke with the other host of your show last week.
Spoke to Ty. Sorry about that.
It's all right. We recovered. We recovered well enough to have you back. He didn't ruin it for you.
Kind of a two-parter. That's all right. Danny, do you have like a Wednesday feeling that you're rocking at any point?
Wednesday feeling is getting a hot dog off the Quick Trip roller grill.
You're right.
For lunch. Like, it's fine. It only cost me a couple of bucks. I'm never mad at it, but who's stoked about a roller grill hot dog, you know?
Yeah.
It was like $2. That's anything's good for $2 in this day and age.
Solid lunch.
Here's all that. Like, Buc-ee's gets all the press and the credit, as they should, but Quick Trip is like a distant second, but it's still a second. You know what I mean? Like, Quick Trip rules, man.
They're not playing the same game is the problem. Like, they're not in the same bracket. It's hard to even call them competitors. Yes, they both technically have gas pumps outside, but that's kind of where the similarities end. Quick Trip is a gas station. Buc-ee's is Costco and Disneyland.
Yeah.
Costco and Disneyland.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well, as Shane
mentioned,
we're making this call from our apartment, and Danny is here with us today because Danny is in fact a property manager. That sounds very exciting, at least from where I'm sitting. I'm not a property manager. Could you tell us a little bit about what it is to be a property manager, and then I believe what it is we're drinking as well, since we actually didn't get to that yet.
Oh yeah. Day-to-day job, we are I guess the middleman between person that rents a home or an apartment and the person that owns it. And so we do all of the legwork for the owners. So ideally they just sit back and collect a check every month. And we are also a 24/7 resource for the tenant for any and all of their issues or questions or whatever they need. We have all of the proper licensing and legal training and blah, blah, blah to handle any issues that they have, make sure neither side is taking advantage of the other side. Everybody's getting kind of a fair shake. So truly kind of the middleman that does the legwork and hopefully makes life easier on both parties involved.
Yeah. So basically your job affects pretty much everyone where they live, right? So it's a pretty crucial job as far as we're concerned. But more crucially for this show is what are we drinking this evening?
Yes.
So my go-to is a Jameson and ginger ale. Kind of fairly recently have, I guess, upgraded that to Jameson orange, which hasn't always been around. But as soon as I found it, I have yet to go back to just the original Jameson orange and ginger ale. It's the go-to and has been for a while.
Nice.
At this point.
Well, I think we've all got our glasses ready. Let's take a sip. Let's see. I don't know if I've tried this before, so
yeah. Ginger
That's actually really good because the ginger gets muted by the orange, and it's kind of this nice blend. It's almost like creamsicle-ish a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that orange. It's like a candy orange, not the fruit orange.
Yeah,
right. In a good way.
Now, Danny, I do have something I need to tell you, and I've been waiting to tell you this on air.
Okay.
This drink was a little bit harder to source than you would expect. And I learned the reason why this is harder to source now is because Jameson has discontinued the orange whiskey that they make. So if
Really?
you have a
Yeah.
store that is selling it, you should buy a couple bottles because that is the remaining stock of Jameson Orange.
I've still got like half a handle left, so I'm not a heavy drinker, so I'm good
Mm,
for a bit, but that's a bummer. It's very good.
it is good.
We can confirm that is pretty
Mhm.
tasty. I'm gonna have another,
So
Yeah.
I mean, I took two sips immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I can sort of substitute it with they've got like flavored ginger ales. You can get like the cranberry, cherry, whatever
Hmm.
ginger ale, and just regular Jameson. I guess you could cheat it. It's not the same though. That's sad.
Yeah, I know, man.
Sorry, I feel like we sort of ruined your evening,
Yeah,
but
I mean, we're 6 minutes in, and I'm ready to get out of here.
He's bummed.
guys,
He's
I
like,
don't
I'm
want to
going
talk
to the
anymore.
liquor store.
I got something to do.
Oh man.
So,
Well, as we kind of start to get started talking about this stuff, I mean, your involvement with property management is a very family heavy business, right? I mean,
mm,
you work with
Yeah,
your family.
yeah.
Is that, I mean, Chase also has that in common as well. He has worked with his family a lot, but I guess one of our first questions is, how did you kind of decide that you wanted to get into this? I do feel like a lot of people who work in the family business at a certain point in their young adulthood do have to make a choice of, I want to get involved with this or I want to go a completely opposite direction.
mm,
And how did you get to that fork in the road?
Yeah, initially it was just like I'll do this for a bit until I figure out what I want to do. And then it turned into, oh, I'm pretty good at this. And I actually kind of like the freedom that the family business environment gives me.
mm.
I didn't last long in college. Found out afterwards that my ADHD is real bad. Thought I was just lazy, was told I was just lazy before. Turns out it's a medical
Uh-huh.
issue. So college didn't pan out for me. I only lasted 3 semesters. I was working, I had so many like part-time jobs and like full-time jobs that sucked. And so I was working in academy sports, um crappy manager, crappy like job, crappy like or co-workers. It's like I got to get out of here. Dad has this new property management business that he bought for a song from a lady who is retiring.
Mm,
He needs a hand. I'll work with him part time. I was also working. I was a student ministry intern at that time at a church, and I was managing these batting cages in the next town over, but that they were only open enough for it to be part time.
mhm.
Needed a little bit more money because I wasn't a student anymore, so I was like, I'll do this while I figure out my next steps. And then about a year in, I was like, this is kind of cool. I get along really well with my family. I enjoy the work. I'm pretty good at it. I understand it. Getting a real estate license isn't doesn't kick my ass like college would. So I got my real estate license and did quit my all my other part-time jobs, started working there full time with more responsibilities that being licensed kind of grants you in that business. Did the realtor thing for a little bit. That didn't stick because you've met realtors, I'm sure. They're
Mhm.
not the coolest people to hang out with. So kind of switched to full-time property management and have
Mhm.
been there since. Uh, there are ups and downs and positives and negatives to family businesses.
Mhm.
The freedom is really nice, man.
Yeah.
It's like not having like a direct boss to report to, and if I need to take a half day every now and then I could do it, or if I want to
Mhm.
go on a trip, it's really great. And I don't think I can go back at this point.
What were some things where you may have initially had like conflict with working inside that, and then you either found a way through it, or even possibly like what was surprising about starting that process as compared to the other jobs?
Most of the conflict was with the work itself, just because
Mm,
there is such a connotation around anything property management.
mhm.
Landlord is a cuss word. I very much get it. And so it was just getting past the mental block of like, do I really want to work in this business, until I realized that like the position that we were in is a really good, nobody gets to take advantage of anybody in this deal in an industry where it's designed for people to take advantage of each other.
Mm,
Um, being able to kind of be a roadblock in that and make sure everything is above board and people are treated fairly felt a lot better than what I initially thought going in. Um, Working with family was never an issue for me. I've always gotten along extremely well with my parents. My cousin is our head of maintenance. My brother is our broker. He's the one that holds like most of the licensing. He's the sponsoring broker. That was the toughest part. Him and I seeing eye to eye and working together, just because we never have, we've never worked well together.
Is this an older or younger brother?
Older. He's six
Okay.
and a half years older than me.
That does matter. I have an older brother, and those like it matters.
Yeah, he's 6.5 years older than I am. And so we were always too far apart in age growing up to really like ever hang out, like, or have any friends in common.
You didn't have a lot of like social currency in common?
Literally none. Like we
Gotcha.
could not have possibly been more opposite. We didn't even go to the same school. Like I went to a different school than the one that he went through. And so like we had truly nothing in common. And so that didn't really help. But we figured out a pretty good working relationship. And honestly, most of that is that we don't have the same jobs. Like we divvied up we're the only two people in the office that have a license and need to. And so there's certain things that only we can do. And we just kind of divvied those up in a way that we handle our own business and don't have to step on each other's toes, and everybody gets along swimmingly.
There more points for clear boundaries in life all around.
Yeah, man, it was extremely necessary. We had a very long meeting when I kind of first came to the decision that like, hey, this is what I'm going to do full time now. We're going to be working together, and a very long like, okay, this is your job. You're better at this. I'm better at this. We're not going to cross paths too much, more than we have to at least. And so that certainly helped. We figured out basically he's a bit of a shut-in. He always has been. And so he likes sitting behind a desk and closing his door. And so paperwork, legal stuff.
Thank God for those people.
Yeah. God,
anybody that loves paperwork.
It's just not me. I would die before I sat at a desk all day. I just can't do it. And so my job is everything that's outside of the office, and it kind of works beautifully.
You're a man of the people. You're going out and dealing with people face to face. I like it.
Weirdly enough, no, it's not. I mean, you know me. I'm a bit crotchety. I always have been. I'm not like the most outgoing person of all time. I just get overwhelmingly bored just sitting at a desk all day. And so like the more errands I can run, I do all the showing. I don't know if we're probably going to get into specifics of my day-to-day job a little later, but like, yeah, everything that has to do with not being actually physically in the office, give me all of those jobs. I'll take every one of them.
Yeah. The one thing that does seem cool about your office though, from the pictures that I've seen, is it does seem like there's an entourage of family dogs.
It's a zoo, man.
Really?
Rules. Yeah, my parents are the biggest dog people in the world. I am as well. I live in a building that doesn't allow them, unfortunately, which is okay. I very much get my fix. My parents have, God, 6 dogs. 4 of them are over 100 pounds, and then one of them's just under, and then 2 smaller ones. And they bring all but kind of like 2 or 3 of them to the office every single day. There are like welcoming committee / security at the office. Like it's such a thing that we decided, gosh, it was probably 6-7 years ago at this point. Hey, we're here to stick around. It would be nice if we had an office space that worked better for us. We live in a town where, at least at that time, real estate wasn't all that expensive. And so we're in a good position to maybe buy a building. And we purposely bought a building with a fenced-in backyard. So it would make it easier to have our dogs at work all day. So
if your family's company has a logo, you definitely need to get the dogs uniforms, like so that they're company employees. You know,
they are in our we filmed one commercial and put it out there at one point, and it is just our dogs.
Yeah,
it's all of our dogs just running
that's
around.
all anybody wants.
Use what you got.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to touch on something that you said a minute ago, because it is true. I mean, I think the phrase landlord in 2025, as more and more people, as the generational gap grows bigger between boomers and millennials, and then further down, and as the wage gap gets bigger and bigger between rich people and the haves and have-nots, more and more people are renting. And so as a result, landlord kind of has a negative connotation to it. As you said, it's kind of a bad word. Why do you feel like that is in current modern society, that landlord just immediately kind of tenses people's shoulders up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean it's a bad word, and rightfully so. Like the way that it's set up in the system is it's extremely exploitative, because there's so many gray areas. There are very few federal regulations when it comes to renting property.
Mm.
It's kind of all state by state, and each state has their own. Like I live in Texas. We've got the Texas Real Estate Commission, and it's their job to kind of set up guidelines and oversee these things. The problem is that most of it is just guidelines rather than hard and fast rules. It's
Oh,
suggestions. And it's also a thing that you can very easily get around the Texas Real Estate Commission while doing. If you're just a guy who owns a house, you can do everything yourself. And if you don't have like a licensed person involved, there are rules that you don't have to follow. And so there's just so many gray areas.
I like that it's not you can't do a thing. It's just you just don't got to follow these rules.
Yeah, and that truly that's it. Now, if you're like we're licensed and governed by the Texas Real Estate Commission, and so we're hired by people who own properties to kind of do this stuff for them. And so we have a lot more rules
Okay.
that we have to follow, which is certainly for the better. But even like if we wanted to, which we certainly don't, there's so many ways to get around so many of the just guidelines. And so the way that it's set up is it's extremely exploitative because there are people who have made mistakes, either
Mhm.
criminal background, maybe they got into an issue in the past and their rental history looks shaky. It's pretty easy to turn people away, and a lot of people just have to. And then you've got the really shady, I'll rent to anybody because you're desperate and you don't have anywhere to go, but you're going to pay
Mhm.
more money, and also I'm not going to fix anything.
Mhm.
And so it's just an extremely easy business to take advantage of other people, which is really really unfortunate because
Mhm.
it's a need. Like it's a basic need. It's not a luxury for the most part. It's some people need places to live in order to be happy, healthy, and thriving.
Yeah.
And so taking advantage of that really, really sucks. And it's not just a problem here. It's a problem everywhere, but it's really bad here, man.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say I appreciate you having the insight to understand that there are issues with the industry and not just saying that
It's terrible.
everything's great and people are complaining. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not just renting. I mean, it's home owning as well, and a lot of it
Mm.
comes down to tax assessors have basically no rules on what they can and can't do, and so you've got people who are raising property taxes by 50% a year
Mm.
every single year, and that makes prices on everything go up because people that like property owners who are renting their houses out need more money at that point because their taxes have gone up, their insurance
Mm.
rates have gone up, and so in order to just break even, they need more money. And so I mean, it really starts at a like foundational level on that thing. It's like the government putting their hands in and needing more money on every single step of the way. And then it
Mhm.
just trickles down to everybody is spending more and more and more until it's just people at each other's throats. And
Mhm.
it sucks a lot. So
Yeah, that's a real shame. I mean, it feels like it can come down to kind of a personal choice to be a good person or not. But
right.
generally, on a whole, how could the industry be better at being honest with people and taking less advantage of people? Is there certain things that industry wide could be done?
Uh, I mean, as far as people owning properties, I mean, not allowing corporations to
Mm.
own property would be great. And I don't mean like their own offices and stuff. I mean corporations buying swaths of land and putting cookie cutter apartments or
Mhm.
like townhomes or whatever, and like squeezing in as many as you possibly can in a certain area and renting them out for just as much as humanly possible. Like that would be huge. I've seen places, I think Georgia did for a while, I don't know if they still are, where they just limited the amount of properties that you could own,
Mm.
especially as a corporation.
Mhm.
That would be huge. That would help so much because it's gotten to the point where just regular people simply can't afford to own property anymore
Mhm.
because they can't compete with giant corporations who have unlimited funds and are trying to set themselves up for the next 100 years or whatever. That would be huge. Putting a limit on tax assessors
Mhm.
to where they can't just, hey, your taxes are double this year than what they were last year, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Mhm.
That would be really great. That would keep costs down kind of across the board. And just more on government and like intervention is rarely the right answer. Some restrictions would be pretty welcome, like a set of strict rules that someone has to follow as far as quality of the place that you're renting, and
Mhm.
like things have to be fixed when they go break, and or when they break, and you have to like do your due diligence in making sure that you're renting out a livable property where someone has a chance to be happy, healthy, and thriving. Those would all be really, really welcome additions.
Well,
That's, I
hopefully, if
mean,
any senators or political activists are listening, these are good answers that we should take to Capitol Hill. I think because I think a little regulation is needed, but good to know that there are steps that could be taken to make the industry as a whole better.
so I mean, regulations aside, that is a unique response for somebody in a business to ask for more regulations. But it sounds like it's kind of a world of a free for all at the moment. I'm not
Yeah,
sure we're in an environment where we're going to get more regulations anytime soon.
no, certainly not. I guess the difference is, I guess it's a little bit of a unique perspective in that, because like I'm also a renter.
Mhm.
And even if I wasn't a renter, I would be a homeowner. And so like, again, living in a home is a kind of foundational need in order for someone to live a happy life.
Mhm.
And so like, yes, from a business perspective, less regulation would help put more money in my industry's pocket. But again, I pay rent, and so all
Yeah.
that money is just coming right back out of my pocket. And I would much rather make a little bit less money and have a better chance into living in an affordable place, and
Mhm.
also my workplace being happier and not have people be angry all the time because things are better across the board. Seems like a win-win for everybody involved.
Housing is for sure a need. I'll agree with you there. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, not exactly my hottest take.
Yeah.
no, and
Well,
it works out for you because that means you'll always have a job
yeah,
because they'll
that's true.
always need property managed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, as we kind of talked about, like crafting this episode, one of the things that we know you do is that you kind of take pictures of new properties, right, for people that to go online or whatever.
Mm.
So, one of the questions that we have for you is what other than just basic photography advice, what are some of the things that make for a good picture for listing a property online? And then the
Oh
flip
God.
side to that coin is what should tenants be on the lookout for when they're looking at pictures for things online?
What do the
I,
people want to see?
yeah, I mean, as far as photography goes, I'm the worst person to ask. I use my phone and I walk through a property. Wide angles, being able to see the ceiling, the corners where the walls and ceilings meet, is always going to be helpful. I look for things that are being hidden. It's really easy to hide stuff when you're taking photos. Make sure that you can see as much of the kitchen as you could see. Zoom in and look for details of either cleanliness or cracks or whatever. Make note of the parts that you aren't able to see in the photos.
Hmm.
Um, and never rent the property without physically being in it at some point. Like the pictures are great as oh, this might just work for me. Um, don't rent a property sight unseen, because no matter how good the photos are, they're not going to be a substitute for actually being in a place, you know.
Mhm.
Is that a thing? Do people rent apartments or properties without actually ever stepping foot in them first?
Often we don't allow it anymore.
Really?
We kind of have a hard and fast rule that until you have seen the property, I'm not even going to look at an application that you submit.
Hmm.
It just creates problems. I want someone to move into a property that they love, because it creates less issues for everybody involved
Mhm.
going forward. I don't ever want to trick anybody into moving in somewhere that they're not going to like. And so yeah, we've gotten to the point where we won't accept a dime from you until you have actually seen the place that you're looking at renting.
Hmm.
Nice. That's really. I mean, that seems like a common sense thing to do to people when renting.
You
Um,
would think. It's just like, it is not a few extra dollars, or renting it out a couple of days ahead of time is not worth the headache of like having an unhappy tenant. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like an unhappy tenant is bad for everybody involved. Obviously the person who's unhappy living there, but like we don't want to fight with you. And in a perfect world, this is a harmonious relationship where we
right.
work together to make sure that like you're happy with the place you're living, and the owner is happy because he's getting a check every month.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's bad involved, like bad all the way. Is the same reason when I'm showing a property, like I just open a door and I'm there for questions,
Uh-huh.
but like it's also the same reason I stopped being a realtor, selling someone a house and like trying to convince them to like something that they may not already like feels weird and like sort of dishonest in a
Mm.
way because like you've lived in houses and apartments before. You know what you like and you know what you're looking for. You
Mhm.
know what a stove is and where a kitchen is. I don't have to tell you what these things are. Just kind of open the door, let people walk around, give them as much time as they need. Make yourself available for any questions that they have, of course, but like I don't want to sell you on
Mhm.
anything. I want you to like the place that you're living in. Like
Mhm.
people get real sheepish and they feel like they're personally offending me if they don't love a place. And I get it. Especially in Texas, politeness is like a second language to
Yeah.
everyone. It's just kind of a way of life being polite. If you don't like a place, that's okay. Just say, hey, it's not for me. Move on. Everybody's fine.
Mhm.
The way that you phrase that, it makes me wonder how many Canadians just live in apartments that they hate because they're just so polite. Oh,
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah, it's real good, eh?
I like it a
Yeah.
lot. It's actually wonderful.
Until 3 months in, and they're just like, God, this place is the worst. And then it's a problem for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Not so good, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So mentioning tenants and mentioning tenants being good tenants,
Mm,
when people are, just to give people some information for when they're applying or trying to find a place to rent, what makes someone
mm.
a good tenant on the application? What can a tenant do to give themselves the best odds of getting into a place?
For our again, my perspective is going to be a little different because we are a small like
Mhm.
I'm related to everybody that works in our office. We count by doors. I think last count was around 400 doors. And so like a house is a single door and a 26 unit apartment building is 26 doors. I think we've got like 400 doors. There are apartment complexes that have more than 400 doors.
Mm.
And so like we're relatively small time. But like we don't screen applications that way. We look at facts, and so you have to submit your proof of income, and we run a background check,
Mhm.
and we look at those things. And like outside of that, like at least in Texas, and I'm sure it is elsewhere. I haven't read up on other states' real estate laws. Again, they're all a little bit different because it's such a stupid business.
Uh-huh.
Um, at least in
California, you have
Texas,
to
like
sign away your firstborn child.
it's
Yeah.
wild. Um, you kind of have to take all opinions and preference out of it, otherwise it's illegal for lots of. I mean, there are
True.
discrimination acts aplenty, and there should be because otherwise it would be real easy. And again, Joe Bob down the road that owns a house and is rented out doesn't have to follow the the discrimination acts, which really sucks. So be
Mhm.
on the lookout for that. But if you're renting from someone who knows what the hell they're doing and has a license, like I can't look at someone's application and go, I don't like their vibe, or they misspelled that word. They're probably dumb. I'm not going to rent to them. If they can show me proof that they make our income limit, and if I look at their background check and they meet the criteria on there, then I'm going to rent to them regardless. And so
Mhm.
there's not a cover letter is not going to help. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
it's not
Oh,
any.
good. We can stop writing cover letters,
Yeah,
Tyler.
At least like where I'm at, there's nothing you can do to like zhuzh up your application.
Mhm.
It's a first come first serve basis, and if you check all the boxes on the facts that I look at, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that's good to know that there's not any like thing, like, especially the flip side of that is there's not anything bad. Like, hey, don't mention that you work a nighttime job or, whatever, like
Oh no.
on an application. Well, that's good to know that I mean, the way that you describe it, it makes it sound like it's a fair, balanced process, which is absolutely how it should be.
Ideally, I mean, in a perfect world, it is. Again, there's so many gray areas in the world of real estate that if you're an asshole, you can find ways around it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, anybody who's a halfway decent person and halfway decent at their job, there's no like, it's not a preference thing.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, yeah. Well, that's good to know. Like I said, because it makes it feel like it's a little bit more fair and balanced, right?
Mhm.
A question I would have for you is when potential tenants are meeting with you, whether it's like an initial meeting or not an interview, but like if they're touring the property,
Right.
what are questions that tenants should be asking property managers and landlords, right? Are there questions that it's like, not anything got you, but just like they should be asking about like our management style or whatever. What are questions that tenants should ask
Yeah.
you guys?
Yeah, I mean, pet policy stuff is always good, knowing what kind of pet you can have, what you have to do in order to get one, blah, 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 blah. Um, Asking about the appliances, whether they're included, whether they're guaranteed, if they're going to be fixed while you're living there, if it's your responsibility, any amenities, ask access to those type of things. Other than that, I mean, you can ask whatever you want. You you're not always going to get the most people are going to dodge it, of course. I mean, you could ask someone all day, like, if I have an issue and call in a work order, are you guys going to come fix it? No one's going to tell you no. That's not an indicator as to whether or not they have a decent maintenance program. You know what I mean? You can ask about neighbors. They're almost always going to tell you, yeah, they're great. Most of the time, like a lot of times, I
Greatest,
just
quietest
don't
neighbors
know.
ever.
Yeah, and it's the same on the flip side. Like, I've never met a person who told me that their dog wasn't the most well-behaved dog in the entire world. You know what I mean? And so there's only so much information you're actually gonna get. I just make sure you like them. Make sure that they're using like actual official leases and not one that they wrote up in a Word document. Like we use the Texas Apartment Association lease. It's just kind of a standard across the entire state. We have amendments that we add. Make sure you read everything that you're signing. A lot of times they'll try to give you a weird, hey, just look, glance this over real quick. It's worth it to read everything, because a lot of times, especially if it's not just a standard statewide lease, they're going to try to slip some stuff in. So if there's any amendments, any addendums or whatever, know what you're signing, know what the lease terms are. Other than that, it's just make sure you like the person, and make sure you like the place that you're living in. Check under the sinks for leaks, check in the closet for mold, make sure there's no bugs or rat shit all over the place, make sure it's fairly clean. That's a bigger deal.
Normalish stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
more so than
you
asking
shake your head
questions.
like that's obvious, but I think to a lot of people it isn't. So that's really solid practical advice. You know,
Be diligent when touring is really the biggest deal. Don't be afraid to open cabinets. If the person who's showing you the property looks like they're getting annoyed because you're taking too long, don't rent from that person, because they're either trying to
Something's
hide
up.
something or they're an asshole. You know what I mean? So yeah, open cabinets, look under sinks, look for any kind of animal or bug leavings. Flush the toilet if the utilities are on, start the shower to make sure the water pressure is going to be okay. Check all that stuff. Take your time.
I guess we would also be curious to know what makes someone like a good tenant, or what have been the best tenants you've had. Any ones that you're like personally prideful of because you're like, yeah, that's my person, and they've been there for however like 15 years and never missed a payment.
Yeah,
like the body from like the dude from Seven, David Fincher Seven.
Yeah, he's great.
Best tenant we ever had. Always paid his
Always
rent
on
on
time.
time. Never moved.
yeah, that's always
Yeah,
great.
there's stuff not so much.
For me, the biggest deal is like talk to me like an adult person. People go straight to yelling often. Like something happens and like there's your air conditioning goes out, which in Texas, massive deal. Your air conditioning goes out. Call me and say, hey, my air conditioner's out. I'll have somebody right there. I promise. Don't call me and yell at me and cuss at me because your air conditioning went out. I'm not a fortune teller, unfortunately. I wish I was. It would make my life a whole lot easier. Those are really where the biggest issues come up, is where people are like angry at you because something happened and not because of the way that you handle. Like, if you call me and tell me your air conditioner's out and I don't send somebody right away, then get mad at me. I fully deserve it at that point. Your water heater quits working, maybe the pilot light goes out, and you're angry at me and yelling at me and cussing at me because I'm not there to light it for you. I don't live there, like I'm not in that apartment with you. I can't have known that it went out. Let me know what the issue is. I'll take care of it right away. So yeah, just talking to me like an adult person, having an adult rational conversation. I would much rather work with you than be working against you. It doesn't have to be antagonistic unless one of us makes it that way. Even if you are antagonistic, I'm gonna fix your stuff. We're gonna get it taken care of because that's our job and that's the agreement that we made. But going into it like a rational, reasonable adult person, who doesn't want to jab a fork in my eye. Like that would be really, really preferable, I think, for everybody involved.
We can only hope for more rational people in the world every day.
My God, that's the thing is, but people just unrealistic expectations, and our company being mind readers and like expecting things that we couldn't possibly have expected.
Well, I'll tell you, following your advice, I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to scream about it, but I do spot a problem for all of us, which is that I'm staring at 3 empty glasses.
Oh, I'm going to yell.
Well, feel free to yell, but don't yell at Danny. Come on, he didn't do that. He messed his own glass up. But no. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get ourselves some refills, and we'll be right back with Danny Weiser in just a few minutes. Chase, I don't know about you, but it does feel like ever since COVID hit, we spend so much time in our homes, and our homes have kind of become our office, and it's been this kind of weird blend of professional and home. I find that occasionally it is difficult to become creative in the house. Sometimes you got to get out and you got to find a different space to kind of let that creativity fly. And we are excited to share with our listeners that if you are in the LA area, we have the solution for you. We are proudly sponsored by the Muse Rooms, which is a creative co-working space that is here. They have a Hollywood location and they have a Burbank location, 2 convenient locations for you, that is ready to serve all of your creative space needs. If you want to rent space for a day to work on that screenplay, or if you need to rent a conference room for a big meeting that you have with a team that doesn't meet regularly, the Muse Rooms has got you covered. It's a great space. It's a great owner. It's a great vibe too. It's just a really cool, you'll get points with the youngsters. Being cool for renting out.
It's the hip spot to be, indeed.
It definitely is. So give the Muse Rooms a check if you're for all of your creative co-working space needs at the Muse, MUSE rooms.com. And we're back from the break. We're here with Danny Weiser talking property management stuff as well as all things rankings. Danny, one question that we do have for you is that we know that one of your responsibilities as property managers, you have to inspect properties after people move out. And we know that there are probably a lot of like awful horror stories that you have of people that just leave wild shit in apartments. So please, if you would indulge us, if you could tell us a couple stories of some of the wildest stuff that you walk into. I just imagine, again, not to bring up David Fincher for the second time, I just imagine some things are just like the John Doe apartment from 7 where you're like, what is going on in here? Like, what was this,
Yeah. It's funny you said like wild shit that people live in their apartments, because oftentimes it's literal shit.
Oh no. No.
Pretty often. Like so much so that you're not surprised by it anymore when you walk into a recently moved out of home.
Like human poop.
Literally
human excrement.
That has happened. It's generally pet, of course.
Which that's also
I would say once a month. And again, we manage 400 units total. And so like we don't have like thousands of properties all over Texas. Like we're in a county and we have 400 units. Probably once a month we inspect a recently moved out of house that has actual pet shit. Human shit has happened quite a few times. I say once, this is like 6 months ago. These people, it's one of our lower end properties. These people were living in it. And it was a woman who had signed a lease with us, and then she let her adult kids move into it without telling us. And then somewhere along the way, we tried not to ask too many questions. Somewhere along the way, the kids filed a restraining order against their mother, who had to leave the house. And so it was just these kids that we don't, I say kids, they're early 20s, that we don't know. And we don't have any kind of
kids.
We don't know. We don't have any kind of lease with. We don't have any paperwork on them that are now living in this house and stopped paying their utility bills. And so the utilities are shut off.
Smart move by them. Smart move.
Yeah, of course. They're living in this house that we don't have access to, and it's a big, lengthy whatever. We finally, after months and months of like court stuff, get them to leave. Like a significant amount of siding has been ripped off of the walls of this house. It has 2 bathrooms and both tubs are filled with human waste.
All right.
Of both kinds, because their plumbing had been off for a couple of months at that point. And so they had just started leaning over the bathtub and doing
like,
their business.
Here's a container.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And it stopped draining because obviously it got plugged up. That was the worst one, and it happened about 6 months ago. That was the worst property that I've ever seen. It was so bad that like, so I don't do maintenance. I don't do any maintenance. I'm not handy at all, unfortunately. And so it thankfully wasn't my job to actually physically do the work to get that house back up to speed. It was so bad. I opened the door. I got hit with the wave of the most foul smell I've ever smelled in my entire life. And I turned around and I left. And I was like, if you make me go in there, I'll quit. I don't care. It was,
I'm not doing that.
It was the most heinous thing that I've ever seen.
Awful.
People will leave their entire lives. They'll leave all of their furniture, all of their belongings. It's like they'll just pack up a single suitcase and move out. Which at that point it's our job to get rid of all of their stuff. We're very very chummy with the local thrift store that there's a thrift store in our town that's connected to the women's shelter in town. Like the proceeds go to them or whatever.
Oh, that's nice.
And so they are frequently get calls from us.
You
like,
guys
hey,
are chummy.
I have a house literally full of stuff. If you'll come get it, you can just have it. That happens all the time. Every now and then people will leave something cool behind. Like I currently needed a dinette set for my apartment. We had someone move out that took most of their stuff with them. They just happened to leave behind a decent dinette set that can't do anything with. So I got a free dinette set. And so sometimes it's cool. Sometimes it works in our favor. Most of the time it's just like, have you ever swept up after this dog a single time in the years that you've been living here? Oh God, there was another one. It was a really genuinely a nice house. It was a 3-bed, 2-bath brick home in a really nice neighborhood. It won't sound like much to you guys in California, but like this house was renting out for like $2,000 a month, which is a nice house here. Again, 3-bed, 2-bath brick home, 1,600 square feet,
great
good
deal.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Here, not so much. Here, that's like pretty high end as far as rental properties go. For you guys, it's a shack, I'm sure. But here, $2,000 is quite a bit in the small North Texas town that I'm in. This woman, it was a single mother who had 3 kids. One of them was a baby. One day we get a call from her neighbor who lives in a house that we don't manage. We don't know. She just saw our sign in the front yard before this person moved in and wrote our phone number down, I guess. Called us and said, hey, I just want to let you guys know there's a really, really terrible smell coming from the house that you manage here at this address.
Immediately, I'm dead bodies. I'm just immediately
which has happened. And so we call, or we like call, she doesn't answer, so we go by, cars in the front, seems like someone's home. I go to walk up to the front door to ring the doorbell, and I see right outside the front door in like the corner piled up is a probably 7-foot high thing of like Walmart bags that are full of something. And I get closer, she was putting her baby's dirty diapers in Walmart bags, opening the door and dropping it in the corner right outside her front door, and had apparently doing this for so long that the pile was literally about 7 feet high. Instead of just taking it a few steps to the like garbage bin, which again, she could afford a pretty nice house. She's not like that. The rest of the house wasn't junked. I went inside to make sure like she was taking pretty good care of it, just right outside the front door, because she only used the garage to go in and out of her house, so she didn't think about it. Was just 7 feet high with dirty diaper bags. It was absolutely fat.
That sounds awful.
It's the way that some people live is absolutely wild. And it's not even like people live that way because of necessity. It's just like you apparently stopped caring a long time ago. And it's
life is worth living, and making connections with people is the best thing that you can have on the planet. And at the same time, people are the worst.
Oh yeah.
The worst, you know?
Yeah, man.
What? Let me ask you. So
make one friend that comes to visit your house. By the way, make a single honest friend.
Some person in your life
house and say like, yeah, that'll go. Hey, that's fucking gross. Pick that up.
Why are they all there?
That person.
Yeah.
Why do you just keep them there?
Yeah,
just
ask that. Put them in the damn trash. Let me ask you a question.
Literally, you could get creative and throw a garbage bag into the garbage bin from here. It's not that hard. Right? Sorry, go ahead, Shane.
You could put a garbage can in your house. That would still be even preferable to just stacking.
Fine too. Mm-hmm.
I mean, at that spot outside the door is also an option.
Yeah, put the garbage can there. It's not great, but it's better. You know,
Huh.
Like the diapers, the human waste, that stuff, at least my brain can process that stuff. Have you ever had an experience where you went into a property after somebody moved out and there was just like, a semicircle of like headless Barbie dolls on like a bloody pentagram where you're just like, what is this? Like where your brain can't even comprehend what you're looking at. You know what I mean?
I mean, it sounds like as long as it doesn't smell bad, it's a better thing.
Honestly, yeah. No, nothing that I could think of that is just like, what kind of rituals are you getting up
Yeah,
to
yeah.
here? Nothing like that I can think of. Most of it's animal related. There have been a couple that have like, the house is so dirty, this person was such a hoarder that like their cat died a few years ago and we just found the skeleton under this pile of garbage in the corner. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
that has happened a few times. Dead mice all the time. Nothing that I could think of that is just like, oh, you summoned a demon here. Thankfully, I haven't come across anything like that. Nothing that would make me think like, this is a haunted house and I have to leave now.
well, that certainly sounds like a good thing. I'm still not over all the other stuff. I'm
I
glad
would
you
take
also
I would
don't
take
have
a
to deal
haunted
with
house.
ghosts.
I would take a demonic ritual and like use summoning a ghost at this point, as long as you're just like sweeping and mopping every now and then. You know what I mean?
Just clean up the demons.
Yeah, that's preferable at this point. As long as there's not cat shit in the middle of your living room, like I'll deal with a ghost every now and then. It's fine. I don't care.
Well, just to try and mine for the other side of this coin here. Um, Other than what you've stated, what can tenants do to make an apartment look better when moving out? What did you wish they would do?
Take everything with you is really all I ask. We're not super picky about deposits. We're gonna bring in a professional cleaning crew afterwards regardless. um and so I'm never asking people to get on your hands and knees and scrub the baseboards and stuff. Like, don't fill in nail holes. You hung up pictures. Everyone's going to hang up pictures. That's normal wear and tear. You need to make this a comfortable place to live in. And so like, we don't charge for stuff like that. Take everything with you. That's where the big charge is, because we have to pay somebody to like haul that stuff out. It's just a pain in the ass to have to deal with your old couch that you didn't want to deal with, because now we have to not only haul it, we have to usually get a trailer to load all your stuff into. We have to, if it's in decent enough shape, to donate it, make the coordinate donating it. Most of the time it's not worth donating, so we have to like take it to the dump, and there's a dumping fee, and the charges add up. And so take everything with you is the biggest deal. Sweep up a little bit. Don't bother mopping. Sweep up. Granted, I can't speak for all property managers. Some are going to be picky assholes.
I mean, I was going to say, I once had a property charge me, and this is a line item they actually put on their thing for exterior spiders.
Jesus.
They charged me because there were spiders outside.
Yeah. So I certainly, I really, really obviously can't speak for everybody, because there are just assholes about stuff like that. But yeah, from where I'm concerned, like our business, remove everything. Don't put up like wall stickers, because those don't come off easily.
Or like a vinyl decal.
Yeah, the live, laugh, love stickers. You know what I mean? Like, those things that people put on their walls.
Get a wooden sign like a normal Karen and just hammer it into your wall.
Put a photo in a frame.
Yeah. Those stickers, they fucking suck. They peel. They peeled the paint off the walls. They're not easy to get off. So don't put stickers on the walls. Take stuff with you. Don't leave don't leave food in the refrigerator, because the power is probably going to go off, and that's going to be really terrible smelling. But yeah, and we're not the pickiest people in the world. From our perspective, good word of mouth is always the best advertising for us. And so being able to tell your friends, oh, I rented from these people and they were decent to deal with, and they weren't super stingy about my deposit, that's always way more valuable to us than being able to keep $100 of your deposit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I feel like for people who are listening to this, I mean, obviously we just came off talking about the lows, but for everybody who's really paying attention, there are highs to this as well. So a question I have for you, Danny, is if someone is listening and they are interested in getting into this business, what would be the skill set or what would be the path forward that you would recommend about getting into this business?
Having vendors that you are comfortable with that are fairly honest as far as maintenance stuff goes. You're not going to have maintenance crews that are able to do everything. One, lots of things just need licensing and training that your general maintenance man can't do. You need plumbers, you need HVAC technicians, you need electricians, things like that. Find ones that you trust because they're going into people's homes. And so you want to have somebody that, even if they're not technically affiliated with you and they're not actually employees of you, they are representing you at that point because you sent them there. So find vendors that you trust. Try to be a decent, reasonable person. Realize that this is someone's home, even if they don't own it. Don't treat them like a number in a ledger. Realize that this is a person who's just trying to be happy in the place that they live, and it'll be better for everybody if you just treat everyone decently. Will be huge. As far as like the logistical stuff, getting your real estate license, not hard. It's really, but again, I could do it. I failed out of community college and I was able to get my real estate license on the first try. It's not the most difficult thing in the world. But yeah, just have knowledgeable people around you are the biggest deals. And yeah, just don't try not to take advantage of people. Let them have a house that they like.
Yeah.
Nice. That's solid advice. I mean, it's, you know, again, it might seem obvious to say, but I think it's good for people to hear, you know?
Yeah.
And we also have, that is very, very solid advice. But I was curious, as a property manager, how do you view the real estate market as it sits currently? Obviously, you express concerns.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken
yeah.
as shit, man. It sucks. And again, it's broken because of corporations taking advantage of loophole. I mean, it's so easy for someone who makes more money than they know what to do with to dump their money into a property to avoid having to pay taxes, and they're dumping it into so many properties that it is now impossible for other people to buy properties. And so that, at least as far as I'm concerned, is the root of most of the housing issues. Is just, again, like every problem in this country, it's being sucked dry by the impossibly wealthy, by the one percenters here. The housing market is no different. They're exploiting a broken, shitty system at the expense of the rest of us. Sorry to get up on my liberal soapbox here. I guess,
it works so much better because you're actually in the business. You're not just some random human that's saying like, you're like, I've seen how this does and does not benefit people in life, and you really want it to change, which is amazing. Which I feel like now we're going to transition to a little bit of a lighter fare.
The world sucks. The real estate property business sucks so bad right now. We're going to literally transport ourselves to a fantasy land, right? So,
now you know why I host a stupid podcast where I dumb shit with my friends.
No, it's great.
Well, so on that note, so as we mentioned at the top of the show, so Danny is the co-host of the Rank Kings podcast, which is a wildly popular podcast where Danny and his co-host rank things from whether it's celebrity products to, you know, like greatest movies of each decade and all these things. It's such a fun listen. Like Danny and Ty have such a great chemistry. It's a very easy thing that you can just kind of put on while you're in the background, or you can kind of just listen as you're going about your day. It's really, really fun. But so we thought, in the spirit of that show, we would give Danny here the opportunity to flip the script, where usually the guest host on their show is the judge. We are going to ask Danny to judge our category today. And so we're not going to do 10 in order to keep things moving a little bit, but we have 3 options for a category that, Danny, of your game, we would like for you to judge.
Please.
Okay.
And the category that we are doing today is the best fictional apartments in movie and TVs to manage, not to live in. Although, for what it's worth, Chase, when we built our list, I also kind of assumed that I was like an on-site property manager.
I mean, me too. Yeah,
I kind of live there, but it's not. But my interest in them is not because I live there. It's about to manage those properties.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
All right. So if Dan, if you're game to judge, we would love to have your opinions.
I'm thrilled
on
to. Again, Shane, you got to remember, if the movie came out pre-2012, I may not know The Apartment because I don't watch old movies. So I'm going to do my best here.
I think actually from my list, you're going to be okay. I can't speak for Chase's because
I think you're fine for Shane. I'm a little bit more eclectic.
That's fair enough. So. But Chase, it's your job to pitch it. So why don't we? I can
Google too. It's fine.
There you go. So we'll do 3, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1. So Chase, why don't you start? Give me your number 3 building that you would love to professionally manage in a fictitious world.
All right, so for me, my number 3 building, I sort of bent the rules a little bit, but I think it still works. I'm going to go with the Fawlty Towers Hotel in Torquay, Torbay, UK, which is from the BBC series Fawlty Towers, starring John Cleese. It was sort of a British countryside. It really was like a hotel / manor. There are people that are there all the time that are definitely just living at the hotel. So that's why I still think it allows for managing an apartment complex. But it was just a really quirky, very dry British TV show, again, starring John Cleese, who I love. And it was just always just really fun and just a crazy little world for him to exist in. And it looks like a lot of fun to manage. It's very lighthearted and very quippy. I'm there for the quips.
You know what I just learned?
To know I have no clue what this is.
I know. I don't think a lot of people know what Fawlty Towers is.
Actually, you know what
worth finding.
No joke, dude. I just learned this last night. Fawlty Towers was an idea that John Cleese came up with based off of the hotel / inn that he was staying at while he was filming Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, there you go.
He was staying at some wacky place and he was like, this place is like a sitcom. And he wrote a sitcom about that. Okay. Danny, I guess to help my co-host Chase here, it's fun with delightfully quirky British people would be, I guess, what you'd be dealing with if you manage that property. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Fair. All also, right. You're not going to have to deal with any weird smells because they all eat bland food. So.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Oceanside views, it's beautiful.
It's there you go. All right, so my number 3 choice, the building does not have a name as far as I could find. It's Park Avenue and 73rd Street, New York City. And it is Don and Megan Draper's apartment from Mad Men. Here's why I want to manage it. Because again, I assume I live there. I would be a really cool property manager, landlord. I would make sure everything gets fixed pretty quickly. Because I would assume that if I was cool and I got in with Don and Megan, they would invite me to their parties and stuff. And so I would just get to hang out with Don Draper and like the Sterling Cooper Price gang. Like if I did a good job, they would let me into their inner circle, you know?
I think that's the only reason he chose this one.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
To hang out with
also,
cool
the conversation pit in the middle of that apartment. Sick as hell.
It's like a sunken couch situation. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
dope,
cool
dude.
as hell. If from a property manager perspective, I do see one big issue with this apartment.
Oh, no.
And it's that every time someone moves out, you're doing a full paint because people are just ripping cigs in there all day
long. So they're sucking back darts all day.
They're ripping darts 24/7 in there. And so you know for a fact, as soon as I gotta do a full paint on this whole ass apartment. And that's a big pain in the ass. And so that's a bit of an issue from a property management perspective.
But this was also back when they were probably just painting over it. They weren't really doing anything to abate anything.
Lead paint, no less. Lead paint.
More lead.
Yeah, they're a layer of lead. Yeah, not as tough then, but
all right.
So, while we're addressing things being repaired, that kind of connects to my number 2 choice, which is this is an unnamed apartment from a film, which I believe. Oh, I don't know.
Don't even know the film name. Okay.
No, I know it came out.
Like, what's happening? Dude?
It came out in 1987. This is a film called Batteries Not Included.
Okay.
There's an unnamed apartment complex in the, I guess, downtrodden part of New York City. What occurs is a developer is coming in to buy an apartment complex, and through the course of just happenstance, a series of robotic aliens infiltrate the apartment complex. But don't worry, they're friendly, and they go about rebuilding the entire apartment complex, thus preventing the sale to the developer. So that works for me because there's these cool little space robots that are going to come in and fix everything for you anyway. And they're just really cute and animatronic, and it's a wonderful film.
Yeah. Listen, I Googled batteries not included apartment. Maybe I'm seeing before pictures because this place is a fucking dump.
Oh, it is. The aliens go in and fix it. At least they fixed the lobby.
Yeah.
But it's a bit of a slum.
Post alien renovation, That sounds great. Listen, there's few jobs in the world that are easier than managing a brand new apartment complex where like things aren't breaking. You know what I mean? Like if things are functioning correctly, your phone's not ringing, and that's awesome. So
There you go. And at this place, you
it's-
got little alien robots. They're going to fix everything for you. So
sure, yeah.
I think that sounds nice.
I assume they're not licensed, so I'm going to pretend like they're not affiliated with me. But listen, what I can't see, don't hurt me.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Danny's face, that whole thing was. I think I'm in trouble because I feel like Chase is coming at this from a completely different angle than I am, and I feel like this is really all right. So my number 2 answer is the American Irish Historical Society building, which is located in Fifth Avenue and 80th Street in New York. The top floor is rented by a one Logan Roy from the TV show Succession. I feel like A, if I lived in that building, I would be doing pretty well. B, I feel like, because of the level of wealth in that building, you would have access to the top maintenance crews and all that stuff in all of New York. And I also feel like they would all get tipped really well, so everyone would want to work for me. But I also just kind of feel like things would go, when you're dealing with that level of wealth, things just go smoothly. Do they not? Like everything is just kind of, the wheels keep moving all the time. I feel like it would be like the worst thing is like, hey, my uncle got drunk at this, news party that we had and he threw a glass. Can you have somebody come up and clean it up? It's like, yes, we can do that. We can clean up a broken glass in your kitchen or whatever. But it feels like it would be pretty low maintenance. Is that fair, or am I way off base here?
Counterpoint.
Okay.
The people who have enough money to live in apartments like that are the worst people on earth.
Oh, no. Okay.
And they have incredibly high expectations. And so you're going to get a phone call on Friday night / Saturday morning at 2:00 in the morning from some richer than God asshole that's like, hey, I just got home from a 2-week long business trip and my faucet's dripping. And if you don't come fix it right now, I'm going to make sure that you never work again. You know what I mean? It's like those type of people is like, hey, you could have just told me this on Monday morning and I would have come fix it right away. But you're a rich dickhead who needs things fixed on your time. Big issue there. Yeah. So stuff's not breaking as often. That's great. Dealing with those people. Listen, we've talked about it before. I've seen the first episode of Succession 3 times and I've never seen episode 2 because every time I watch them, I'm just like, God, these are the worst people I could possibly imagine. And so having to like have some sort of professional relationship with those people, I would rather die.
Okay, fair enough. I feel myself going.
Shane's killing it.
I know. I feel my list tanking here. Okay, fair enough.
The problem is you're picking things I'm a little more familiar with. I've even heard of either of the TV shows or movies or whatever that Chase has picked.
This next one might moderate it a little bit.
Okay.
So my number 3 choice, I don't know if it's the best or the worst choice. This is still just on my list for pure novelty. This will be the Peachtree's apartment block, which you of course know from Sector 13 of Mega City 1, from the Judge Dredd comic series, and the film from 2012.
Yeah.
You're familiar with the Judge Dredd film? The most recent one with Carl Urban?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, with Carl Urban.
With Carl Urban, yeah.
Yes. So the reason I chose Peachtree's is, one, the sheer variety of stuff to do. There's grocery stores, there's theaters, I thought I was going to go big or go home, so I went with like a 20,000 door apartment complex in Peachtree's from Judge Dredd.
Yeah, heard that.
If you've seen that movie.
Okay, just full clarity on this. This is the apartment building where people are actively being murdered in.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna assume that I'm just after that. After Dredd came through. Now everything's kind of cool.
Like part of the cleanup crew?
Yeah. I mean, you start
the dead body. You have to coordinate the cleanup crew of all of
from
the
bottom
people.
I'm excited. I feel like Chase just tanked his whole list. Now I have a chance here.
The whole point of that movie is it's like a dystopian hellscape that people are living in and constantly being like ceremoniously or unceremoniously killed in a police state. And it's like
I said, go big or go home. If I was going to manage a place, I'm not going to be bored.
Go home.
There.
Go home. Yeah, I quit.
If those are my 2 options, I go home. That was Judge Dredd is not the movie that is like, man, if I could live one place, it would be in this universe. And
it's the future.
Dredd.
It's cool.
It's Mega City 1. Yeah.
The entirety of the East Coast, I believe.
Wild choice.
All right, fair enough. So my number one answer.
I'm just trying to handicap myself for Shane's list.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
listen, it makes for good. It makes for good podcasting.
Yeah, Chase is taking a dive. So my number one answer. It does not have a specific location or address in Seattle, but it is the Elliott Bay Towers, and its most famous resident is a one Dr. Fraser Crane. And I would choose because it's a very luxurious apartment building, and I would just choose to manage that property just as an excuse to hang out with Fraser and his family. That's all. I would put up with so much shit just to hang out with Fraser. So I understand it might not be the appropriate choice. It would still be my number one choice to manage for fictitious apartment buildings. But if you've seen Fraser, you know it's a very nice building. It's not like Logan Roy rich, but you don't live there unless you do pretty well for yourself. So I imagine that, again, it runs pretty smoothly because it seems like a newish, clean building.
I think Shane's just going to be distracted by trying to hang out with all the tenants.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know how well you're going to manage things.
Yeah, if there's a hitch in your plan there, Shane, it's like, how many people are hanging out with their landlords? You know, not many. Not many people are just like, hey, Bob, no, my air conditioning works fine. This is a social call. That doesn't really happen. For the most part, people are hiding from their landlords and don't want them inside their unit for any reason ever. And so, like, I hate to shit on you there. But I just expectation wise, being a neighbor to Fraser seems great. He doesn't seem loud. He's clean. His apartment is always in good shape. That all seems fantastic. I don't think he's gonna be like shooting you texts like, "Hey man, do you want to come over for a beer, landlord?" I don't think that's happening.
You know, like in the movie Mean Girls, Amy Poehler is like the cool mom. I could be like the cool landlord. You know what I mean? Like I could be like, "It's cool. We'll hang out. I'll fix your sink, and then we'll go grab a beer, you know, or a sherry."
That stops the first time the 6th of the month comes along and it slipped Fraser's mind, and you have to do hey, really sorry to do this. Did you maybe forget to pay rent? Then the whole buddy thing is out the window. You can't ask for somebody for that much money every month and still just be pals. You know,
that's fair enough. I feel like I did not consider this as thoroughly as I perhaps should. So I'm willing to accept judgment, but I feel like unless you have further questions, Danny, I feel like we're ready for your judgment here. Lay down the hammer.
You've made this tough for me because Shane's list is entirely built on the pretense that these people want to hang out with their landlord, which is me. Which is just, I don't think that's correct ever.
I know, you're probably right. Yeah.
A little faulty there. Chase, on the other hand, picked two things that I have never heard of, and neither has basically anybody else ever. And then the third one is a dystopian hellscape where people are being actively murdered.
Yeah, because why not?
And so, like, things are a little tough for me, but because I value my own life, I am going to choose Shane's list. And this is entirely a self-preservation thing, because having to paint after Don Draper's chain smoking when he moves out is so much better than being exploded.
I hear you.
No, you're right.
I tell you what, man, it feels really good. So when we recorded with Ty, I lost, and it stung a lot worse than I thought it would. So I now have an extra layer of sympathy for every time you guys lose on the rankings. I'm like, God, that burns worse than I thought it would.
It's great on our show because one, I'm desensitized to it. Again, we're over 200 episodes in. It's been over 4 years. I'm not that competitive. I haven't been since like high school. I learned pretty quickly, because I was a hyper competitive, pissed off every time I strike out, angry at the world. I got over that pretty quickly. I was like, this isn't a way to live. So as an adult, I lose stuff all the time. I can be bad at stuff. That's fine. Ty, extremely competitive, hates losing. And so now we've gotten to the point where the only reason that it feels really good to win on our show is because Ty lost, and that feels good for me. So Ty losing feels better than Danny winning to me personally on our show. So that's kind of where we're at. Again, we've recorded far too many episodes together.
Well, if anybody wants to track down this far too many episodes, where can they find your show? Where should they listen? Where should they tune in?
Yeah, so we're on Instagram at the Rank Kings podcast. There are 2 Ks there in the middle. So we post episode announcements. Episodes come out every Friday. It's anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever, all of the other random apps that people use. Um, we have a Discord that's free to join. You don't have to be subscribed to our Patreon in order to join the Discord. The link is in the link tree in our Instagram bio. We have lots of channels in there for we talk movies, TV, sports. There's a channel that's dedicated to Ellen's new baby and her posting pictures of that, which is always nice to see. We have an episode ideas channel, which is a godsend for me, who is fully run out of ideas. The Discord is super fun. The Discord's the best thing we've ever done for the podcast. It's built. We're not a big podcast. Like we're not that popular. We're pretty steady at the number of listeners we have, and we're fine with that. But the people that we do have that listen to every episode are mostly cool people. Listen, there's the occasional exception. If you're from our Discord listening to this episode, you know who I'm talking about. You're my mortal enemy. Mostly extremely cool people that I love talking to and have loved getting to know from across the world, plus one person in Canada who's super cool. So yeah, join the Discord. Strong recommend there. It's super fun to hang out in there. We have a Patreon. There's a $3 tier, $5, $10, $12 tier. Starting at $5, you get access to we post 2 bonus episodes a month. Normally it's us watching a movie and talking about it, and we do a recast as if it were being made today, and so that's always really fun.
Nice.
Starting this month, I don't know when this episode comes out, starting in May, I guess, we're starting a new series called High School Heroes, where we go back and rewatch shitty teen dramas that we grew up with that have become like a weird niche on our show. Is how much we love, like, we're starting with Smallville. We love Smallville. We love the OC. We've watched a whole lot of One Tree Hill. It's just absolute garbage television that has kind of become part of our identity. We're going to go by these a season at a time. So the rest of the year we're doing Smallville. We're about to record season 1 tomorrow. I'm really excited for it. But that's patreon.com/the Rank Kings podcast. Also, the first 170 episodes of our show are being taken off the main feed because we used an Anderson .Paak song as the intro.
No.
And we knew we weren't supposed to, but we were just like, fuck it. They'll probably never know. They found out 4 years later. So the options were either go in and individually edit 170 episodes and repost them. And listen, we're frankly not doing that. I'm so sorry. We've migrated them over to the Patreon, so for as little as $3 a month you can have access to our entire backlog as it gets slowly removed from the main feed. If you feel like listening to 170 episodes of 2 jackasses ranking the dumbest things I can think of
while you're moving into your new place.
Yeah, sure.
And even though it's certainly less fun than the rankings, but if anybody is listening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and they want to rent from a property that is managed by you and your family, since that clearly, like, you guys are doing it honestly, you're doing it forthright. How can people figure out if you guys manage a certain property so that they can try to rent with you guys?
Yeah, I'm hesitant to give the business name out. I guess we're in the Sherman, Texas area. We have properties in Sherman and Denison. There's only a few companies here, and so feel free to reach out. Ask questions, even if you don't rent from us. Happy to answer any questions you have. I'm on Twitter at Danny Weiser. Shoot me a message on there. You can shoot me an Instagram message. I'm also at Danny Weiser on Instagram. Don't follow me for content because I don't post anything ever. But if you have a question about hey, I'm having this issue with my landlord, or I'm looking for this, or I have this question about my lease, I'm fully licensed and I'm fully qualified to answer, especially in Texas, any questions you have. But common, general information that maybe a normal person wouldn't fully know, that maybe you want somebody who's kind of on the other side of the aisle to answer. Listen, I'm happy to give any kind of advice. Not legal advice. Legally, I can't give certain advice.
Any advice you're able to give, you're happy to give.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. Shoot me a message, Twitter, Instagram. Find me in the Rankings Discord. Who cares? You know what I mean? However you can get a hold of me, happy to help out with whatever. Because I again, it's kind of an exploitative business that people find as many ways as they can to be shady and squeeze as many pennies as they can out of people who don't have extra pennies to spare. And so if I can help you avoid that, I'd be thrilled to.
Well, that's very incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today, Danny. Very informative, very just really fun. And I'm even without me winning the list thing.
Yeah, see,
he's so
pissed
good
about it now too.
I know. I was trying to
so
keep it
good
hidden.
until murder was on the table, and then it just really made it rough.
Okay, but it's anyway. I'll figure that out later. Thank you so much for joining us. Please check out Rankings. It's a really, really fun podcast. And if you happen to be able to track down Danny in the Texas area, you can rent property from him and he will manage the shit out of you. And now I'm going to hand it over to Shane for our sign off today, because I feel like I've said our
I know.
Instagram call letters enough. So I want to see how you do it.
You can follow us on Instagram at TwoDrinkMaximum, TWODRINKMAXIUMUM.
Nope.
No. MAXIMUM.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
See, it's not as easy as it sounds.
No, it's not. So we can do this now going forward. I will spell it for the next 800 times until I get it right. But yeah.
Yes, that saves me so much time.
You can find our show wherever podcasts are found. Same places you can find Rankings, you can find TwoDrinkMaximum. So again, Danny, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And we want to shout out our sponsor, the Muse Rooms, which is a co-working space here in the Los Angeles area. If you're looking for a space to rent out, property or a space to work, or a place to have a boardroom meeting or whatever, they are a great space for that. So please look them up at themuserooms.com.
Which is MUSE for Muse. Really, really incredible show. Thank you again, Danny. Thank you, Shane. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers.